So over to you, Mr. Alex. You can go ahead now.
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for coming back. I think what we are experiencing today is part of being professional and time management. If you can cut me on that. Yes, please, someone who is sleeping, is it okay if we cut him off? I'm not sure who's that. Doctor, there's someone sleeping. Yeah, that's not very good because it's being recorded.
Do you have the name?
Esther Ade something. And the dressing as well, I think it wasn't really fair. Thank you very much. We need to respect this community. Their image we don't want to show, their attitude we don't want to show because we follow everyone here. Again, what we did before was giving you a different scenario of what we will expect in this community. There are some questions we have when we talk about, oh, why is forensic? How can I go into mental health? How does this link? How does it fit in to different departments? Now we understand that it's useful in hospital, in police, in security, even in the government organization. They are all useful. So when we look at policy, that's where you now find that many arguments. Why are people being sectioned? Why are police arresting people? What is our role in this perspective? There's a question someone asked me. I remember about 8 police anchor individual to mental health hospital, and the police got there, removed the anchor and hand over this person to level 3 healthcare worker and a nurse, doctor, and they were not having gun, they were not having anchor. So now, that is where I look back to what you said. I think that when you talk about psychological approach in mental health setting, how this activity works, isn't it? The intervention on managing such people who were violent, who were aggressive. And this training is part of what we need, isn't it? To be able, I don't know what you want to say about that kind of scenario.
Absolutely. So, for example, when the police leaves the offender to a nurse or without handcuffs, you should know the knowledge on how to talk to the person. What kind of words can you say? What will trigger the person to act violent? Sometimes the offender may not be very violent, but maybe certain things that you say that can trigger them to be more violent, more aggressive. So having knowledge or being a forensic psychologist is very helpful in these kind of facilities, so they can come in and help you. They can access, will they be violent? Are they okay? Are they safe to come into the facility and all that?
Yes, thank you very much. Again, do we have a general question? Do I see any question out there? Let me check if we have question in the chats that we can. I can't see any question.
Okay, maybe for those that have questions, you can just raise up your hand and you'll be called up to ask a question. Please, these questions should not be about visas, should not be about traveling, should not be about the test, should not be about it should be strictly on this forensic program we are running. Please, any other question can be asked in the class and it can be sorted out. Thank you.
iPhone was asking, raise up his hand. Is it iPhone?
iPhone 1.
11,
okay, over to you, iPhone
11 Pro. iPhone 11 Pro.
Good evening, sirs. My name is Rose. I wanted to ask if children with special needs fall under the circumstances. For example, if you have an autistic child, would you be seen to be rendering same services to such people?
Kafinga, do you have an answer to that?
So the question was, if an autistic child, would we be treating the same way as an offender? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, so no, absolutely no. So as a forensic psychologist, you will have interventions. So you will sit with the child and get to know them personally. You will call this as risk assessment. So it is based on each individual. So it depends on the person and how you want to treat them, how you want to take care of them. So basically, in summary, no two people will receive the same care or same intervention. It depends specifically on the person.
If I can add to that, when we're talking about autistic child, now we're looking at people going under the learning disability department, where we call learning disability mental health nursing home and all that. So you have a special doctor who is registered a learning disability nurse and learning disability professional. Definitely, we will have psychologists supporting them to be able to make sure this person have the same life expectancy as everyone else. Any other question?
Okay. Done for now. Francisca Amadi. You can mute yourself. Francisca Amadi, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Francisca Amadi, we can't hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. Yeah, good sir, for this one.
Go ahead. Babatunde Okunola, please, you can't be eating on this program. It's wrong.
Francisca, I think you're muted.
Francisca, please unmute yourself.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing me to talk. Good evening, everyone. Sir, first of all, I want to thank you for this program. It's very educative and I've learned a lot. But then I have a question to ask, sir. I'm directing it to our foreign representative. Please, I have somebody at home. From what I've learned from Mental Health 3, the person is suffering from delusion and hallucination, and is not even accepting that there's something wrong with him. So, and his problem is started with hard drugs. He takes hard drugs, and he's also a uniform man. And so I'm trying to ask, in this kind of situation, how do you think one can manage it? But because first, he has not even accepted that something is wrong with him. He's not even ready to take the transplant. This kind of situation, many of them outside there.
I will assume you finished talking now. Kasinga, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Francisca, thank you for your question. And I understand how difficult it would be to have someone like that at your home. And firstly, because I'm nobody to advise because I'm not a doctor, but as a student, as I have a degree in psychology, what I can tell you is that firstly, you need to understand that sometimes people who have this kind of mental health problems, when they have delusions, they are not aware. So they do not know that they have this issue. So you can go up to them and tell that you have delusions, you are seeing things, you are hearing things, why can't you understand? They don't know. So first we have to try to understand them. So I'm sure that you have learned about delusion from your level 3. You said that you have learned a lot. So I'm sure that you should also know that you can't force anybody. So, and you can't expect them to know, because most of them, they do not know what is going wrong with them. And that's when you have to seek support from outside. For example, a psychologist, if you can afford a psychologist, you bring it to them, or then you can start talking to people and asking to treat them, because number one, you can't force them. And number two is that they do not know that they have something going on wrong with them. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Alex?
Yes. What you said as a student is very important, that we don't put ourselves as a professional who are involved, whether your family. Now, under the level 3 literature that you read, doctor must have given you different content. If you go straight to the content we call patient-centered care, and also mental capacity. Now, those two, if you put them together, you might be able to see a picture of how you can support people who have these needs. There is no way one person can make decision. You as a family member, I will advise you to be very careful when you think someone is unwell, even if you're a psychiatrist, you're a registered psychiatrist. You cannot go straight to I cannot go to my family now and diagnose them. Even diagnose myself, if I'm aware, I have to go to hospital. So be very careful when you are studying, trying to put it into your home that your person is having delirium, because you measure many things that this person is a uniform person. You saying that if I was in hospital now, I'm a staff in hospital, you are saying that I would think maybe you need to check something with your own knowledge. Someone in uniform, do you think the wrong organization employed that person to be working in the first place? Are you sure that the person have access to work, he knows their time to job, and they support the home, they make money? Then you are not telling me that I'm delusional. You know, I'll be very angry, you know. But if professional is standing in front of that person that is not familiar with the family, these are neutral. I can listen to a neutral person telling me my mouth is smelling, you know. Oh, but sometimes your family cannot actually tell you because they know who you are. You might be aggressive and all that. They will not change when you personally tell them. It's like you are telling someone, let me use the word again, you might tell someone their mouth is smelly. They will be very angry and upset. So mental health is not something we joke with, especially with uniform people, because some of them might have PTSD, which is undiagnosed, that are affecting them. They might not be really having that challenge. They just need therapeutic support, which is professional, as Kafinga said. There's nothing else I can add to that. Any other person? I think I can't see hands up. Okay.
I think it's Oyin. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing.
Oyin, yeah? Oyin? Hello, Oyin.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I can hear you, sir.
Oyin?
Hello?
We can't hear you talking, Oyin.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, doctor.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So I couldn't hear your initial comments.
Oh, I think
Sarah?
it's Miss Oyin would like to say something.
Okay. Yeah, but before then, I
Sarah.
think somebody is raising his hands up. Babatunde Okunola. Can we pick a question for him?
Yes.
Okay.
After that, Sarah or Oyin.
Okay. Babatunde Okunola.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is a power-packed program, and I really appreciate you, sir. More grace, sir.
Thank you.
My question goes though, sir. Please, sir, how do we precisely merge the field of forensic psychology with the mental health practitioner or practices rather? I still don't understand the clear difference between the two. Take for instance, in the area of mental health. In the area of mental health, there is there is this point we learned from where where comparison is made in between the caregiver and the mental health practitioner, sir. Now, when combine the two together, how do we then marry forensic psychology with these fields? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I don't know if you were here from the beginning.
Yeah.
We created a structure of 3 questions and that were answered. I don't know if I think that you want to restructure that your answer again. You know you've answered it, but just to point on it when we talk about the relationship between the community, NGO, and all that.
Definitely. So basically, when you know mental health, so mental health is basically focusing on anyone with mental issues or mental health problems, anybody. So when you look at forensic psychologists, it is still mental health, but you have specifically will be focusing on criminals, on offenders, on somebody who commit a crime. So you try to understand what is wrong with them, what happened to them. Is there any mental illness that caused them to commit a crime? So a forensic psychology specifically study criminals, offenders, how does their mind work, what kind of mental health need they have, what happened to them, is it because of depression, is it because of delusion? So you study criminals basically.
In addition to that, specifically when you talk about multidisciplinary team, so on the course that you study, if you go in deep down to find out what MDT is all about in care, so assessment is difficult for one psychology or forensic psychology. So that's why we now have psychiatrists to come in who actually have the full feed of mental illnesses. We also have registered mental health nurse that also come into this environment. So now when we talk about level 3, now when we look at care planning cannot actually be more holistic without having level 2 healthcare assistant, mental health care assistant. Because if you ask me as a level 2 mental health care assistant, if I was on the ward, we do more relationship with individual than psychiatrists, than registered nurse, than even the manager, because we are just like family today. We are always there when they wake up. We are always there before they sleep. We are the one providing food for them. For them, those who doesn't have the right capacity when it comes to bathing, we are also there to provide those personal care. So now, we are very important at level 3 to also work with these people. And everything we do, we always make sure we document them. That is where we also need to be careful. If you look at your data protection module, again, a unit, let me say that, data protection unit is also there for you to know the importance of care planning and protecting them as an individual. Yes, they all work hand in hand. They all work together. They cannot be individual, just like you're talking about police officer now. Let me make this very clear. When we talk about forensic, the word forensic means assessments. So now when you have psychology to it, you are now looking at behavior, mind, attitude, lifestyle, all those difficult things that when you look at people, religious people say spiritual. So the psychologists kind of see it. If I tell you here, and if I'm standing here all day looking at everybody's psychological view, I will be able to tell you what you are thinking or what you are doing or your attitude. But it might look like, oh, maybe I'm doing magic. No, I'm not. Because that is what we do when we look at people who are unaware. Again, we don't do it at home. that would be difficult. We don't do it. We are not going to do that here. Yes, it's very important we have relationship with everyone. I'm not ruling out family when we look at care plan. Care plan have the angles: family, neighbor, friends, registered nurse, all registered health professionals. They will come together. For example, you can have someone who killed 20 people now. Let me use the word Boko Haram, maybe the leader of Boko Haram. If you take someone like this to forensic community, they will be wondering, how can individual be a killer? That's the first question they have to find out. They have to find out the person's behavior in a home. At the end of the day, forensic psychologists will tell you if this person is doing this thing without mental health or they have mental health issue, and choose the right unit, whether direct to prison or direct to mental health home. That is the difference. Baba, today you raise up your hand again. Is that clear? Because your question was very educational. Do you want to say something again?
No, sir. No, sir. I'm clear.
Excellent. Excellent. Any other person? Maybe the last bit, because we only have 5 or 10 minutes left.
It was Oyin just now.
Oyin, yeah, Oyin was there.
Oyin, well, I think that the hand must have gone down. Maybe probably we've answered that question through somebody else. So is there any other person that has a question to ask? Okay, in the absence of anybody asking any question, I think we can go ahead. Okay, Sarah Daniel. Okay, Onyi, okay. Onyi, over
Yes,
to
Sarah
you.
Daniel and Oyi, they've been raising their hand.
Okay.
Anyone can ask.
Onyi, over to you. You've been unmuted.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. Though I joined it late, but I was able to pick one or two things. Someone just mentioned a scenario of someone with a mental health issue and is also a uniformed person. I just want to ask, I don't know if this belongs to this class, in terms of security, is there anything that is in place protecting the mental health caregiver, just in case the patient, let me put it that way, goes out of hands once in a while like that? Because I've seen, you know, in some cases where, where these people may just, you know, go overboard and at times become, harmful to people around them. And there are times they are very calm and they do things,
Yeah,
you know, the normal way.
They're unpredictable,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes. So in
Kafinga, do
times
you want
like
to say
that, is there
something?
anything in place?
Yeah, we're
Is
going to answer
anything-
your question. We're going to answer your question. That's very educational. Kafinga, you want to say something?
Thank you for your question. I can understand your question and how important is it. I would say that firstly, usually is that before they release somebody into the healthcare facility, they would actually assess them first. If they're being violent, if they're being aggressive, if it's okay to release them to healthcare facility. But even then, let's just say they were okay, and then suddenly one day they are being aggressive. If I'm not mistaken, that I think every healthcare facility have certain protocols to follow, that you have to do this first, second, and third. So it's different with every centers. But I think Mr. Alex can add on to that.
Yes, I've actually worked 7 years in psychiatric intensive care unit. So now I'm also working forensic at the same time. So yes, there are lots of things in place. When we talk about psychological supports and when it comes to mental health patients, the first thing is not being judgmental. We've had a handover. Let me give you a good scenario. We've had a handover patient coming into hospital, and this patient is aggressive, and for over 3 weeks, this person break seclusion out and beat up 3 staff and all that. So, and police is bringing the person in about 7. So the day staff refused to admit this patient, they delayed to about 10 p.m. Why was this happening? The first approach, they assess this information that you bring, not individual. They assess the information. They also assess the history. How many prisons this person have broken out. So now, the first thing they do is that they will collect the right thing. For you to be a good healthcare assistant or a registered nurse in a mental health hospital, you must have had training what we call PMVA. Is a therapeutic management of aggressive people. It's a way of restraining, but different from police. Even if you are holding things, iron, you are holding weapons, we were trained to deal with anybody. And we've had people who used to be in sports, when you talk about boxing, wrestling, patients who really have that skills. We are trained to deal with this, but not the way the police is doing it. So when this person is coming, we have the right team, we wait for them. We must make sure we are having a smiley face. Imagine, during my time, I wasn't born with smiley face. Even when I finished my diploma in health and social care as in 2008. My lecturer passed me in everything. She said she's not going to pass me because of my face, that I need to come and smile. Now, Alex, you got decision and everything, but you don't have a smile. I had to create that. I never know the importance of it. So when I started working in forensic, before you deal with such people, you make sure you present a compassionate attitude, respect them. And these things are in patient-centered care. They are in, is it mental capacity? They are in, is it, when you talk about different regulation in terms of protecting individual, it's very important that you understand when we talk about inequality. So you might have people who are from different culture who doesn't really speak the language you speak at the same time, and this person is coming. We are all trained without knowing how to shoot gun. We don't anchor. We don't do many things that police do, but we have a room where they call seclusion. You are also trained on taking patient in and exiting such room. Yes, their security, the kind of security is a caring security, compassionate security, a friendly security, having human value, because when you talk about people under Mental Health Regulation, Mental Health Act, 1983, it was updated in 2005. You might find out your community, I don't know which, we have multiple countries here, you might find out the regulation in your country. This gives the right to be assessed, treated, and admitted into hospital. So yes, we follow all this protocol. That is the security. I don't know if we answer your question.
Yes, you did. You did justice to it. Yes, you
Thank
did.
you. See, that's doctor
You did.
language. You must have been a doctor for a long time. You normally say
No,
you did justice to something.
No, really, I've had, people close to me that, once in a while like that, they have, mental health issues. There are times they are very okay, and when you least expect, they'll just, become aggressive for no reason. There are times you think they're okay, they are calm, they are taking their drugs, but, I don't know, something just triggers something and become aggressive, especially to people very close to them. That's why I said, is there anything in place? Because I understand that even if people like that hurt someone, under the law, they can't be prosecuted. That's why I said, is there something protecting them?
So, thank you. They are prosecuted. When we talk about human rights, if you are well or not, staff, everyone entitled to their human rights. So no patient has the rights to abuse staff. We are all, when you take them to court, the court will always follow the right procedure. But what we don't want to do, I've been beaten before in mental health hospital. I've been locked in a room by 3 patients in mental health hospital. So now, what the court will look at for was your training. So when I was locked in a room, the first thing I did was to hand on my security alarm to the patient. But before I hand over my security alarm, I've already pressed it. So I explained, I'm not going to press it. I'm here with you. And before you know, up to about 10 staff jump into the room. So you must be trained before you work. If you're not trained, where I was working, they will not even let you work there because you'll be tested to do the job. So that's why police comes in. They hand over people to us and we look after them. We have people going now, some of our staff will be crying because some people will think they are unwell. Let me quickly say this. We must be very careful when we are judgmental. People who will think they are unwell or people who will think they are very, very bad, by the time they get better, you will benefit from them. We've had many sports stars, even the royal family, some of them expressing their mental health issue. We've had lots of people in our community right now, they are expressing mental health issue. Yes, they can still be best of what we expect them to be. And that's what this training is about. The training is not giving us to judge our family, to judge our community, to judge our friends. It's about being good to anybody. I learned how to be very good during my job. I never attend church. I never go to all those things when I was growing up. But on my job, doing voluntary for 5 years, I learned to be more compassionate. I learned to look after people. I learned to polite. If I meet you first time, I'll be able to give you that approach of a carer. because that is what I was trained to be. I can't change, you know. And tomorrow, whenever, anytime, I'm also continue learning. It's about learning, it's about communication, it's about getting up to date. When we talk about CPD, you must have also learned CPD. I don't know, Doctor, you also have this, isn't it? On the content. When
Exactly.
we talk about continuous professional development, that is what being a carer or a professional is about. What we all know today, regulation can change. Maybe this show, this class we are having today, tomorrow, law might change that we don't have the right to have it. And if you see where Kefinga was trying to answer our question, you ask, how do you assess your family member? She dodged you out. She said, sorry, I'm not in charge. That is following the regulation about being professional. She doesn't have the right, even if she can diagnose, she don't have the right to tell you this is what is wrong. And that is who we are. And we would like to call it a day because it takes us to have Kefinga with us. I think she's traveling. She might be, I don't know, she might be, our flights might be waiting for her now as we are here. Doctor, do you have anything to add?
Okay, thank you very much, Kitinga and Alex Oni-Edigi of Osafes Care. It's a nice one to have you both online with us on this program. Hopefully next week, maybe Thursday or Friday, we'll announce the date on Monday and the time. We hope to have you again on board, maybe with one other presenter with us. I want to believe that for everybody that participated or are participating, we've gained one or two things. And for those of you that are in the class that were not able to join the Zoom session, please bear with us. We sincerely apologize that you are not able to come on board. The next program we'll be able to take up to 1,000 persons. That has been our usual habit, but we had a technical hitch which made us use this. And essentially that will be done. So for now, we have over 1,000 persons that would have joined. No problem, everybody will be on board. This is being recorded and it will be sent to the class. And probably we'll give like 3-4 days notice before the next session so that everybody will get ready and be on board. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. Thank you once again. Kitinga, thank you. And Mr. Alex, do you have any closing words before we as we promised, we're going to have a community NGO and the purpose of volunteering as the last episode of this program. Now, Doctor was pulling my legs when I said, this is the last section you're going to have for your level 3. But he was actually saying a lot of you doesn't like watching those videos, he doesn't like reading. I'm not arguing that because we've assessed a lot of people in this community. We've interviewed people from this community. There was evidence that some people were asking their children to do their tests. So we're asking their friends to help them open email. They don't know how to use laptop. But when they now come to UK, we start facing those challenges with them, not knowing what to do. As you all know, working in mental health setting is something we should be more compassionate. Start from reading any books that involve you having the certificate in the first place. In UK, they don't question your certificate. They don't question your competency, but if you get a job having the first class in your certificate, and at the end of the day, you don't know the job, that you are on your own. That's where the law will also be against you. The law protects you, but if you don't have the right skills, the law will not support you. It will support, go over to the patient because everyone deserves their human rights. It's not human, it's against the human right if you didn't study and you say you can do the job in the first place. Thank you all very much. I remember Alex from OFC College. If you're in the UK, you can always visit us and let us know what you have for us, not what we have for you. You've been getting more knowledge from us, isn't it? Thank you, Doctor. Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you very much. Let me just throw more light on what you just said now about the program we had. You know, sometimes they try to make things very, very easy, but just like he said, we want to make sure that anybody that's holding this certificate can actually defend it, and they can actually stand and work with it anytime, anywhere in the world, whether in Nigeria, UK, Canada, or wherever. So we will try as much as possible on our part, because we are doing it online, to ensure that everybody really goes through every single process. If possible, have extra processes to go through, test and assignment, until you become a mental health expert by default. Yes, let me put it there, by default. So we are going to do that on our part. Laplace Metaverse is going to ensure that if you ever paid for this program, you come out better for it, and one of the best in the world. So that is our aim, our objective. And thank God, Mr. Alex Onyedigi and Kitinga is here with us, and we're going to achieve that. So thank you very much. See you next week on Friday.
Katinka, you want to say something?
Yes.
You want to say something?
Yeah, hope you gained something from this session today, and just want to say thank you to Alex and Doctor for this opportunity. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Bye-bye,
thank
everybody.
you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye-bye.